You're about to enjoy a Cloudcast original. Local stories, local storytellers, local brands.
Have you ever felt that you as a woman may not appear to measure up when you see incredible women in strong roles? You may be surprised when hearing from women in these positions and how we all share many of the same challenges. Thank you for joining us for the CEO Leading In podcast with Rebecca Jones as we share the journeys of women.
Hello, I'm Rebecca Jones, your host of CEO. We're on an exploration together to discover more about the personal journeys of incredible women in both career and life. We all have paths to share that sometimes take incredible turns, deep resilience, and courage to navigate. My hopes are that the challenges shared here encourage women to take leaps of faith and growth when a journey feels too difficult or unachievable. There is great strength deep within each one of us. These stories are meant to share the ways strong women have taken their dreams to strive and thrive to new heights, despite their sometimes rocky paths, and found a way to lead in. So this morning we are here with Julia Eaton with E41 Kickboxing LLC. Good morning, Julia. How are you today?
I'm doing well. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, so excited to hear your story. So could you tell us a little bit about your business and what you do?
Yeah, so I am a franchise owner. I'm partnered with my mother. We own 9 Round 30-Minute Kickbox Fitness, which is a boutique fitness center in Encinitas. And we offer 30-minute workouts with no class times. You get a personal trainer included. Our workouts change every day, and we use heart rate technology.
That's great.
Yeah.
So what brought you here? How did you get into all of that? That's kind of exciting.
That's a great question. It was kind of a roundabout way. I went to culinary school up in Napa, and while I was there, I gained a lot of weight. And I was the heaviest I'd ever been. And so I started working out with a personal trainer and didn't really see great improvements there. And I was spending an arm and a leg. And suddenly 9 Round came up just on my Instagram down in Point Loma where I was living. And I started as a member and I just absolutely loved it. I ended up losing 50 pounds pretty quickly. And my mother was astonished. She just decided for me pretty much that we needed to figure out a way to bring it to the masses. So I was one of the first locations in northern San Diego. And my initial thought was to get a food program going out of the gym with my culinary background, which has been temporarily put on pause because of COVID, but that's still the dream in the future.
So did you ever see yourself doing this? Because it seems to me probably not.
No, not at all. Not at all. I did play sports when I was younger, so I had an athletic background. I had a couple of knee reconstructions when I was younger, and so that totally took me out of athletics in general. I couldn't play soccer or any of the other sports that I did, so I kind of lost myself in that way. And then finding 9 Round, I kind of recaptured the person that I was many, many years ago prior to the knee surgeries. Now my knee is super strong, and I just want to help other people kind of achieve that same success.
That's great. So, Julia, let's talk a little bit about you as a person. Why don't you share with us maybe a fun story from your childhood that maybe no one knows about you?
Gosh, from my childhood, let's see. I had a pretty interesting childhood up in Oregon. My parents owned a lecture series in Portland and Seattle. From the time I was 7 through, I'd say it was about 8 years, so about 15 years old. And they would have different politicians or celebrities or actors or astronauts or whoever it would be come in monthly and do a lecture at the Schnitzer concert hall up in Portland, and then also at a big auditorium up in Seattle. And they would do these massive lectures, and we would get to spend a lot of time with each person. So whether it be like, Jerry Lewis or Buzz Aldrin or Gerald Ford or Barbara Bush or Bush Sr. or any of those people, it was really interesting each month to get to meet a different person, kind of understand who they were, and learn little tidbits of leadership from each person. Yeah.
Wow, that's incredible. I think that really did prepare you for what you're doing today. So I have a question. What do you think, is there one word that really describes you the best?
One word. I've definitely always been a leader. That role's always, that's one word that people always give me. So I guess I can take that. Um, I definitely try to lead people, which I guess it works with my industry as well.
Okay, so how long have you been in this career? And then what did you do prior? Because you mentioned that you went to culinary school. Did you ever actually work in that field?
Yes, I started Nine Round in 2017 and we opened in 2018. Prior to that, I worked for 3 years at Elaine Bell Catering, which is the largest caterer up in Napa and Sonoma and San Francisco. So we did, lots of weddings and wine cave dinners and parties and all sorts of stuff. And then I was also a private chef during that time as well. And before that, I had a hotel and restaurant background. So worked at the Hard Rock Hotel and the Catamaran and all sorts of different hotels, the Intercontinental down in Cabo, lots of different industries.
Well, when you think about all of that and the fact that you actually ended up in fitness, that is quite a background there, Julia. So how do you measure success personally?
Um, Gosh, that's a hard question. I guess by just feeling content, really. I don't feel content, yes. So I don't feel like I've really gotten to that point of success, but just the ability to, feel like you're really putting something into the world that's going to benefit the world. And also financial security is a big part of that as well. But definitely, I just want to make the world a better place. So if I am doing that, then I feel successful.
Wow, that's pretty cool. So, I know you have a lot going on. How do you balance work with life responsibilities? And I know today you had a little bit of an issue. I think part of it is pivoting, right? I think during COVID, we've really learned that, you know what, there's nothing secure in what a day is going to look like in many cases, and you're going to be having all these turns and twists. And so, but tell me personally how you figure out how to balance that life and work responsibilities.
I guess I try to build my career around my family life rather than the other way around. That's also a big reason why I found Nine Round, was because it's pretty child friendly. So I am a single mother. If anything happens, I am able to bring Mason with me to work with me. And then also, in being my own boss, I have the ability to schedule my trainers to my schedule versus always having to, fit in what my boss needs me to do. So in that way, I'm able to still be there to pick him up from school and take him to school and all those things, which is very important to me because if I'm not, my number one job is being a mother. So if I'm not doing that, then I'm not being successful.
Yeah, that's great. So what does he think about all of this? Just curious.
Mason loves Nine Round. I actually asked him the other day, just on a whim, what he would think if we didn't have Nine Round anymore, just with everything going on. And he looked at me with these big bug eyes, like, is there another life without this? But it's been fun because when I have pictures of him, he was 2.5 when we started the build out, and now he's 6. So it's been quite the journey, and it's so cute to see him growing up inside of the business.
Well, maybe one day he'll take over.
Yeah,
Maybe
right.
that'll happen. So do you experience any resistance when you have trainers that are men? Because especially in the fitness world, I would assume that there's got to be some sort of, it's traditionally a man's world in fitness. Have you experienced any resistance?
So from time to time, I'll get some resistance in the gym. There was a couple interviews that I could just tell off the bat that it just wasn't going to work because of that. But I'd say out of the industries that I've worked in, the kitchen was definitely the one where it was the hardest for a female. So this kind of feels a little bit more like a breeze in that. Also in hotel management as well, that's also a very male-dominated industry. With that one, I really felt like there was a glass ceiling there, mostly because of the family dynamics. You really have to put the career foot first in order to get to the top in that industry. And that's why I ran the other way, because I realized that I was not going to be able to be the family participant that I wanted to be. So I feel like out of the 3 that I've been in, fitness has definitely been the best from that. More so in my line of work, doing pad work and such, you find people that don't want, they fear me being on the other side of the pads because they don't want to be punching at me. That I can kind of respect. But yeah, I just choose not to hire people that I can tell right from the start aren't going to listen to me because of, my age or that I'm a female.
Well, and I think that's an important thing too. You kind of mentioned the hotel business and all of that you actually took that as, okay, well, this isn't going to work for me now at this point in my life because I really want to be a mom and I really want to be home with my child and be able to be flexible and have that, the life of being a mother that you wanted. And the fact that you went out and you sought it for yourself, I think that is really something our listeners really need to hear, because a lot of women feel very stuck in their situations and they stay there. And so the fact that you broke out of that, you did mention that you're a single mom. Did you have any situations with your ex that he was kind of thinking you should stay in the more traditional role and not move into entrepreneurship?
Yes, definitely. He definitely did not like the idea. But at that point, I had already been an entrepreneur for a while. After I had my son, I started private chefing. So more so it was just like the industry switch that kind of threw him off, I guess. But today he understands why I did it. And he approves. In the moment, it was a challenge for sure.
Interesting. So do you have role models or mentors that you can look back and say, they definitely influenced me? And it could even be someone that was in the hotel or the culinary jobs that really led you to where you are and really helped you take that step and that leap to doing something that maybe you weren't really sure about 100%. You had some resistance too.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely been a lot of different people along the way. For the hotel industry, my dad's best friend was definitely my mentor. He's been the vice president of the Intercontinental Resorts. He's retired now. And then also the One and Only Resorts, which is like the only 7-star diamond or 7 diamond hotel chain in the world. So he was definitely the guy who kind of led me along and showed me what was possible, helped me get my internships. But he kind of became an adverse mentor because that was the person that I realized maybe that's not the entire lifestyle that I want. So when I pivoted, that was actually very challenging for him to hear. And I feel like he took it kind of personally. From there, I went to the culinary industry and I had several amazing chefs at the Culinary Institute of America. I mean, there were so many different people along the way, but the lady that I worked for, Chef Elaine Bell in the catering industry, she opened her own business. I think they've been around for 40 years now. And she is like the lady that runs it and started it and everything. And it's definitely her brainchild. So it's amazing to watch somebody like that who is, I mean, she is married to her job. That is for sure. So she was definitely a guiding light as well. It came to a point where she didn't like the idea of children. She didn't want her employees to have children. So that became a struggle. And then that's why I left there. So I feel like there's different mentors that happen for periods of time, and then possibly like you kind of outgrow them and you've learned enough and move on to somebody else. And then right now, my parents, my grandmother, those are 2 people that I've always looked up to.
Well, that's excellent advice to know that you will definitely have different mentors and they might be there for a season and you may outgrow them, as you put it. I really like that. So what are some lessons that you've learned that you would like to share with us for other young women to maybe learn from?
Well, as you said, don't resist change because change is inevitable. That's definitely something that my life can show you. I've gone in so many different directions, but there's always, as you said, there's always a reason for the season. So I've been happy, and I've grown through each different step to really kind of continuously figure out who I am. And, I guess any obstacle that comes out is usually just like divine intervention, just setting you on a different course of action, maybe helping you to avoid something that you didn't want to go to. So to just really embrace the change and go with the flow.
That's great advice. So what are you most passionate about and proud of in your journey?
Well, I'm definitely passionate about, fitness and moving the body and health and nutritious food. And I'm on day 2 of a cleanse right now. Been doing, the sober October bandwagon. So really just trying to nourish the body from the inside out. And that's what I try to preach at 9 Round, and just really help people with that. And besides that, I mean, I'm definitely passionate about the workout and passionate about cooking and traveling, which I can't wait to do again once this COVID bout is over.
Well, I think that's one thing we've also learned during the pandemic is that oftentimes when you are really working out your body with good food, feeding it with the right things, and then also getting plenty of exercise, that our bodies can work so much better. And I think that is a really important takeaway from the pandemic. So I'm glad you shared that. So what advice would you give to the next generation of young female leaders?
To just persevere. Life is going to take you in so many different ways. Just keep strong and keep pushing, because we will make it. And just make sure that you put your family first, and make sure you find a career that you're, like you said, like you're passionate about. Every different industry I've been in has been one of my passions. I did hotel management because I love to travel. I went to culinary school because I love to cook. And I do 9 Round because I love fitness. So if it's cheesy, but as they say, if you love what you do, you don't usually work a day in your life. And I find that to be really true. I really enjoy going to work every day. I really enjoy talking with my members, and I really love sharing and seeing their results.
Well, that is awesome advice. And I think, too, having the discussions with young women to say, you know what, you're going to try things. You may not like them, and that's okay. But finding something that you really enjoy and you're passionate about, it's true. I know it sounds very cliche, but it is true. It doesn't feel like work when you really enjoy it and you're passionate about it. So I have a question for you. What is next on your journey, Julia?
God only knows. Hopefully we make it through the rest of this COVID struggle. That's the big question mark right now. And as long as that happens, then I would love to get that food program going out of the gym. Right now, it's just all about making it through, though, for sure.
So tell me what that looks like. Is it takeaway food, or like a cooking classes, or what is that?
Yeah, takeaway food. So there's actually a San Diego company that's fairly new that does meal prep vending machines. So I would love to have one of those in my back office, and then have members or just other clients that can, place orders up to 48 hours in advance. Then I could cook the meals and then have them available there in the vending machine for people to come pick up. I did something very similar up in Napa during culinary school. We did juices, bone broths, and vegetarian salads and entrees, and we would drop them off at the various different fitness centers to order. We always knew how many we were supposed to do, and then people would just come pick them up and take them on their way. And I would love to have that kind of stuff accessible as the next level to my gym.
Well, I think that's great, because a lot of people don't really know that a lot of the things they're putting in their body are not very healthy.
Right.
They think, oh, it seems like it's healthy, but it's not really. And knowing what your body needs, for fitness wise and health wise and all of that is really important to know. So I'm really excited to see you achieve that dream, and I look forward to seeing it. Anyway, thank you so much, Julia. I really, really appreciate you joining us today, and I'm really excited to share your story, and that you can do all these different things. You just have to really have the wherewithal and the passion and the drive to do it. So thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you.
Now that was powerful. We hope you've been lifted and encouraged by today's inspiring voice. Always remember that life doesn't look exactly the same for each one of us. Never stop dreaming, striving, and thriving. In future episodes, we look forward to bringing you powerful stories from amazing women who learn how to lead in to challenges. Thank you for listening and being part of our community with CEO host Rebecca Jones.
You have been listening to a Cloudcast original. Local stories, local storytellers, local brands. Find more stories at cloudcast.us.